This conference will now be recorded.
Let me share my screen. You should be able to see my screen now. So before we start, I request everybody to share your contact. I know some of you are already in touch with me in WhatsApp, but some of you are not. So you can share your contact details in a private message using GoToMeeting chat. Okay, all right. A quick introduction about myself. This is Praveen Kumar Sriram. I have around 18 years of experience into various Microsoft technologies. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer. I've authored a book called Azure Serverless Computing Cookbook. So far, there were 3 editions which were released, and I have a couple of certifications. And I have worked on different projects within cloud, Azure specifically. So last, I think 7 to 8 years, I'm into Azure. Right? So I have worked on cloud native applications, modernization of legacy applications, end-to-end DevOps implementation, database migrations, ETLs, everything. And I also do some contributions. I'm a speaker. I have my personal blog. I have written around 130 plus articles, and I also have a channel in YouTube called Azure World. I have around 20 videos on that. And I'm also an MVP from this community website called C# Corner. So I have been awarded as MVP for 3 times so far. And then I have been awarded as an excellent Azure trainer for Hyderabad. So I'm from India, Hyderabad. So that's a quick intro about myself. So basically this is an Azure DevOps course. So this is the course structure. So overall we'll spend around 30 hours in which we'll learn around 10 different Azure services. So this course is Azure DevOps, but still we'll have to learn Azure. So Azure is different, Azure DevOps is different. So whatever is required for DevOps guys, right? So Azure services will also be discussed, and then we will learn Azure DevOps pipelines and infra automation from the beginning. And we'll also do some, basically the way we learn is with the help of case studies. So I will pick some real-time scenarios on how different organizations would leverage Azure services and Azure DevOps pipelines. So what is the real-time use case for those and how to implement as a team. And then I will do some mock interviews. It's not too much. It's not just 1 or 2 mock interviews for a few of you. And every day we'll discuss about the core concept of a particular service, and I'll be doing a lot of hands-ons. And we'll also have, I mean, in case if you have any questions at the end of session, you can ask the questions. And we'll also have a quiz. Basically, I will share you a form, a link. Basically, after the session, you'll have to submit the quiz, and yeah, that way it will summarize, will help you in validating if you learned something on the day or not. In case if you made any mistakes, then and you have questions and you do not agree with my answer, probably we can discuss about that on the next day. And I highly recommend you practice along with me. Every day I do hands-on, right? You will also have to repeat the same thing immediately that day, so that you can ask any questions if you have the next day in the session. So that's a kind of technical support I'll be providing you guys. So for example, let's say you are stuck in implementing something, there is an error. So you should share your screen the following day, and I'll be helping you in fixing that error. If I'm not able to fix that error, then probably I will also do some research and I will get back to you with a solution. So that's a quick intro about the course. So I can share you the course content. I think I have shared you with many of you already. In case if somebody is not in my WhatsApp group or not in touch with me, then let me know. I will share you the course content again. All right. So the course is all about Azure DevOps, right? So dev.azure.com is the URL for Azure DevOps. So this is my organization. I already have an account in Azure DevOps, so I already created it. I'll again show you how to create a new organization. I will explain what is organization later. But just glance, right? This is the last batch project. So I'm going to delete this. Whatever was done in the previous batch, we are going to do everything from the beginning. I'm not going to show you existing code and run it, but we'll do everything from beginning. So let me quickly show you some piece of code, because many people ask me, will you write some code in DevOps, right? Yeah. So for example, there are 3 folders, right? SRC is more for developers like .NET developers, Python, PHP, Java, those kind of guys. You will not have to make any changes here. But these 2 are a DevOps engineer's responsibility. Okay, so we'll be writing code. You'll have to write code for this. Okay, so it might look complex now, but don't worry. So I did not write anything. Tools have generated this. I write only these variables. So all this is automatically generated. So we will not have to worry about this. Okay, so this is infra automation. Basically, this code will create the web related things automatically, and this piece of code will create database automatically. I did not write many of this. 90% is generated automatically by the tools. Okay, so don't worry about this. We'll learn from the beginning. And pipelines, even this might look complex now, but it's very simple. When we discuss about this, it's very simple. It's not code, it's not any program, it's just human readable content. So basically, if you say this, copy files from where? From a source folder to a target folder. And what all to be copied? Copy star means everything. So it will be very similar to this. This is one task in a pipeline. So we'll do again this from the scratch. I will explain you what is a stage, what is a job, what is an agent, what is a task. So what is the relationship between all that? What is a pool? So what is a variable? We'll discuss everything. What is a trigger, right? So I don't want to discuss about Azure DevOps today, because we'll first focus on Azure, at least for the initial first week or 10 days. We'll focus on Azure, right? So even today, I will explain what is cloud, what is Azure. Okay, how to get started with Azure is what we'll be discussing. Okay, but in the course, we'll spend lots and lots of time in this tool called dev.azure.com, which is nothing but Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps is a tool from Microsoft. Okay, it's called as ALM tool, ALM, Application Lifecycle Management Tool. You can do end-to-end requirements of your entire project in just one single tool. Okay, we'll learn more about this in the sessions. Okay? But for today, we are going to learn about cloud. what exactly is cloud and how Azure fits into the picture. Okay, all right. So anybody has experience working with cloud? If yes, can you guys tell me what is Azure and what is cloud? Anyone? All right, that's it. Don't worry, we'll discuss from the basics. So cloud computing is nothing but delivery of compute services to the customers over the internet. So basically, let's say you have a new customer. I mean, there is a customer. Uh, they have planned for starting a business, and they want to set up infrastructure. So the traditional way of working is they need to have a data center set up, and they need to purchase physical servers. They need to purchase software licenses, and then they need to install those softwares in the physical servers, and then they can deploy their applications. And the story doesn't end there in traditional way of working with infrastructure, right? They need to have multiple people, tech experts who can manage that complete data center. So it's not just purchasing computers, but it also has a lot of things, like they should ensure that the building is secure. They should set up ACs, they should set up networking, they should ensure that there is proper backup and power supply, right? So there is lots and lots of work in managing a data center, and it becomes very expensive in doing all that stuff, right? That's how traditional data center used to work. But now these big companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, so what they do is they set up these data centers and they manage these data centers, and they have these data centers almost across the globe in almost every country, at least in not in every country, at least a major country. So now, as a customer, the customer need not worry about managing the physical data centers as such. Microsoft would have thousands of employees deployed in each and every data center, right? They will take care of managing everything. We don't have to worry about setting up powers, backup, air conditioning, purchasing the hardware, installation, nothing. We don't have to worry about anything. Even if there is a physical problem with any of the hardware, Microsoft guys are responsible for replacing it with a healthier one. So everything will be taken care by them. We don't have to worry about anything. So cloud computing is something where you can create a server, a database, a storage, anything over internet. So it enables us to implement anything very faster in a secure way, right? And they are reliable as well. So basically we are offloading. When I say we, someone in our customers team, right? We are offloading our work to cloud provider. So what is cloud provider here? Microsoft, Amazon, Google. These are big companies who are providing cloud platform to us, right? So they become cloud providers, right? So they provide us cloud benefits with the help of cloud platform. So Microsoft Azure is a cloud platform. It is growing rapidly. There are many opportunities in the industry now because of lack of skilled people in Azure. Okay, there are many opportunities, especially in Azure DevOps. Right? For Azure, there are many different jobs, but Azure DevOps is very hard because nowadays everybody is looking towards automation. So DevOps engineers are the right people to do automation. Right? All right. So cloud computing is nothing but creation of any Azure service over internet. That service could be a virtual machine, a database, a website, anything. So I am from India, Hyderabad. Now I can create a server in East US or in India or in Singapore or in anywhere, almost anywhere. Right from sitting at my home, all I need is internet access and a cloud account, an Azure account. That's it. That's the flexibility that you get in the cloud. I can do that in just 2 minutes. I can create a server in Azure in 2 minutes, and I can start using it for even my production use case as well. Okay. All right. So let me quickly show you how Azure data centers would look like. Also Google it. So you see, these are the data centers. This from outside, this from inside. You see, these are all racks. Let me quickly click here. Might look bigger. Yeah. So you see, this is a rack. It is set of some physical servers. Each rack will have its own networking, a dedicated power supply. So if something goes wrong here, others are not impacted. There might be a physical problem with one rack. So all those are taken care automatically by Microsoft. Right. So when you rent some servers, right, we are not paying for employees working in Microsoft. We're not paying for power supply. They will not charge for all those. It's all Microsoft headache. So what they charges is how much CPU power, how much RAM, how much space, all those small things that we leverage. Okay. And that too only to the time that we use. For some services we can stop. We can tell Microsoft that, hey, I'm not going to use these things for the next few days, so please don't charge me. So you can just tell them that by just clicking on one button. Okay, so all that is in place, and Microsoft has this kind of data centers in more than 70 different regions. So we'll discuss about that soon. So there are different types of cloud. The first one is public cloud. So Microsoft Azure is a public cloud. So it's owned by some large companies like Microsoft, Google, and Amazon, right? They're called as cloud provider or hosting provider. So now in this public cloud, anybody can subscribe and start working and start creating resources. A person like us, an individual person like me or you can do that, or we can also work on behalf of our customers, on behalf of our organizations as well. That's public cloud. And yeah, you can also access it via secure network, and that's about public cloud. So Microsoft Azure, AWS, GCP, these are all examples of public clouds. And this is a private cloud as well. This kind of data center, right? They also call it as cloud, but it's private cloud. It's not public cloud, it's private cloud. That means there will be virtualization that is also possible in private cloud, but it's specific to one or two data centers, and they only give service to organizations. They'll not provide services to individual persons like us. For example, I have a blog. I want to host it in private cloud. It's not possible unless I set up my own organization, and then only that will be possible. So if I have to set up my own blog in a cloud, then I should go to public cloud only as an individual person. Okay. So private cloud is also referred to as on-prem or on-premises. And now you also have hybrid cloud. So some large customers, right? So many customers are still in on-prem at this point of time, and many of them are looking towards getting migrated into any public cloud like Azure, AWS, GCP. So now they cannot move everything in a day or two, right? They cannot plan for a weekend and migrate everything into cloud. That's not possible. It will take a lot of time in migrating their existing workloads to Azure, because they'll not just have one or two servers, right? They'll have hundreds or thousands of servers, and within each server there could be many workloads, many websites, some databases, right? So they should think, they should plan, and then they should migrate incrementally without impacting, because applications might be dependent on databases, or some IP addresses will be there. So they should document everything, they should plan and incrementally migrate one by one. So the first one, when it gets migrated, that might be dependent on the other servers in on-prem, right? So definitely there should be a connection between public cloud and private cloud, right? So that's called as hybrid cloud. So many organizations, though they migrate everything, they still might have some pieces still running in private cloud for some valid reason. For example, mainframes. Mainframes might still be managed in on-prem because mainframes is very expensive, right? So they don't want to migrate that into cloud, and in fact, full migration might not be possible, right? So they still, the applications running in the cloud might still interact with mainframe applications for some valid reason. So that's kind of architecture is called as hybrid cloud architecture. So any questions, guys? Did you understand what is public cloud, what is private cloud, and what is hybrid cloud? Any quick questions on this public, private, or hybrid? All right. So cloud benefits: high availability, scalability, right? Global reach, right? These are all common benefits, and understand them by looking at the words. So Microsoft guys are responsible for proactively understanding the health of physical servers. So they will ensure that all the servers are up and running all the time, and they will also help us in scalability. That means, let's say today we created a server with some capacity like 16 cores and 32 GB RAM, 16 cores of CPU and 32 GB of RAM, because we are just going live today. So that it is sufficient, but later after a day or two, we notice that the applications hosted in that server are very slow. So obviously production server needs better capacity, right? So it's very simple to scale up the capacity. It's just a matter of couple of mouse clicks. We can increase the capacity or decrease the capacity as well. That's the scalability that cloud provides. So I am now using a laptop. Okay, so its RAM is 16 GB and some CPU, I think 2 cores or some cores. Now I cannot increase the RAM size to 32 GB, right? I cannot do it myself. I have to take this laptop to some customer care guys, and we have to purchase a RAM, and we don't know whether my motherboard supports 32 GB or not. It's a 6 years old laptop. Okay, so obviously it's not scalable. My laptop is not scalable. So that's definitely a problem, right? These kind of problems will not be there in cloud. So you can scale it up to around 400 GB of RAM. I don't remember exact maximum capacity of RAM that Azure provides. I think it's 432 GB of RAM. We are talking about RAM, not hard disk. It's RAM. That's the capacity that you can get in cloud. Another example is, let's say there is a machine learning algorithm that you want to implement. You want to research for that. So probably running that might take 10 days, right? In your machine. But you don't have 10 days. You hardly have 2 days because customer is asking us about the results. So now what you can do is you can quickly create a VM with huge capacity with 200 GB or 300 GB of RAM and 200 cores of CPU or 160 cores of CPU, whatever it is. So spin up a machine, run your algorithm there, it will be done in 1 or 2 days, and delete that server altogether. Obviously, you cannot purchase that large system, right, for just 1 or 2 days, and even you cannot get it for rent from outside. It's not possible. So that's where cloud also helps us in research things as well. Okay, all right. So there are around 250 to 300 Azure services. In Azure, everything is a service. I'm repeating, in Azure, everything is a service. For example, a server, I'm sure everybody knows server, everybody knows database, everybody knows website, right? These are all services in Azure. Like this, there are around 300 different services in Azure, and the number is growing. So all of these services will fall under one of these categories. You see, there are 3 categories, right? In fact, 4 actually. Earlier we had only on-prem or on-premises, but in cloud we have IaaS, it is infrastructure as a service. That means here you get infrastructure as a service by Microsoft. I have a separate slide for IaaS, and I have a separate slide for PaaS. So PaaS means platform as a service, and then software as a service. So let's discuss about this. So in this section, there are 2 things, right? Serverless and PaaS. These are very similar. There are differences, but they are little similar. So I have combined them into one here. And my book is all about serverless. Okay. Let's move on. Let's learn what is IaaS. So you get infrastructure. So what is infrastructure? It's nothing but your physical building, physical servers, physical networking, all that. So Microsoft will purchase them. We don't have to worry about that at all. They will be responsible for managing after the purchase from then onwards till the lifetime. So what do I mean by managing? Right? So let me give an example. In one of my projects, I think 7-8 years back or 9 years back, we were working for a customer. Our data size was huge. I think not huge, but moderately huge. Unfortunately, when we noticed some performance issues, and we came to know that our servers and database servers RAM was 16 GB only. We were surprised with that. Right? Initially, we never had production access, so we were not aware of the capacity. We were only doing development of the project. But because of the performance issues, we had to get access of production server, and then we came to know that the database servers RAM was hardly 16 GB. Obviously, production environment cannot run on 16 GB RAM, right? Now my machine itself is 16 GB. My personal individual workstation RAM is 16 GB. So we asked them to increase the RAM to improve the performance, but they were not doing it. We were very surprised because it hardly a couple of dollars to purchase RAM. So the reason we came to know about that later is the motherboard was not supporting beyond 16 GB. That was a very old motherboard, very old computer basically, right? So, and we spent a lot of time in migrating that into a new server. So they took a lot of time in procuring a new server, and then we spent a lot of time, and many people have worked in migrating that to a brand new larger server with around 100 plus GB of RAM. Then everything worked properly, right? So that this is a scalability issue. So now who purchased the new server? It's us, not me, but some person sitting on site in our team had to purchase it, and we were responsible for migrating that into newer version, newer servers, right? There's a lot of work. Almost we spent 1 month time in doing that. During that time, our customers were not happy because of slowness. But now in Azure, if we were in Azure, if there is a capacity problem, we can bump it up in no time. Okay, and what if after 10 years, let's say today we are into Azure, after 10 years, the hardware will become old, right? We will get latest CPUs, latest RAMs. So is it possible after 10 days to replace those RAMs, older RAMs, in the new server? We don't know, right? But it's Microsoft's responsibility to keep on replacing the old hardware with the new hardware. It's their headache. They will be doing that without impacting our workloads. That's main important thing, right? It's all Microsoft job to replace the hardware in this particular category. This is IaaS. They only do for, they are responsible only for physical infrastructure. Basically, we are renting the CPUs, RAMs, and computers and storage as well. Okay. So what else is required? OS maintenance, right? Operating system updates. They're talking about only hardware, but what about software? They will not care about software in this particular category of service. It's our responsibility. When I say ours, probably some admin guys or some person, someone in a team is responsible for managing the operating system. They will not manage operating system. So we need to take care of which OS to be installed in the server, whether it is Windows server, some version, Linux, Ubuntu, Red Hat, whatever operating system you want, that must be decided by us and that must be managed by us. That means all patches, OS updates, all security updates must be taken care by us only throughout the lifetime. That means a lot of work must be done by us. Not a DevOps engineer, but some administrator will be worrying about all this. But our team's responsibility. Yeah, that's a problem here. That's a limitation here. But advantage is OS is managed by us. That means you can do anything. Right now in your personal machine, you can do anything, right? You can install whatever software you want. The same way, in IaaS, you can install any software that is requested by your customer. You cannot say no to them. You have complete flexibility. You have complete control in IaaS. Okay, so it's your responsibility to upgrade. After 10 years, you want to upgrade the software. Yeah, software upgradations is our responsibility. Hardware is Microsoft responsibility. Is that clear, guys? IaaS, this is very, very important to understand. Even in interviews, people will ask you these things. What is IaaS? You can log into the servers. You can do a remote desktop into IaaS. In fact, I'm already inside IaaS server in cloud. So right now, this PowerPoint that you are seeing, right? It's a software. PowerPoint is a software, right? I have installed in a server which is hosted inside Azure. I created a virtual machine. I did a remote desktop from my local machine, and then I'm presenting that to you guys. There is a question in the chat. Shiva Prasad is asking, right? Security in IaaS. Yes, everything is our responsibility. Security. So we can work with network firewalls, ports, all that, right? You can block, you can unblock, all that you can do. In fact, this virtual machine, right? The one I'm talking about. So if I share you the credentials also, you cannot log in because I have set up firewall rules. I can log in to this server only from my IP address. So everything is our responsibility. Only hardware they will take care, but everything else is our responsibility in IaaS. Solid. Let's go on. Second category is PaaS, platform as a service. Okay. So now PaaS, as you see the diagram, it gets all the benefits that you get in IaaS. But again, there are differences. You will not get all the benefits, but majority you will get, but there are some limitations in PaaS as well. Okay, so in PaaS, when you create some service like a server, a website, right? What you are going to do is, you will get all the hardware, everything you will get. And along with that, it's Microsoft responsibility to manage the OS as well. Not just OS, but tools as well, like web servers, right? Softwares, firewall softwares, right? All those will be taken care by Microsoft themselves. We'll get all these five. When I say you will get, that means all these five will be managed by Microsoft itself. You don't have to worry about anything. That means you cannot. That means the advantage is OS patches will be done by Microsoft Azure. OS upgradation will also be done by Microsoft. So whenever there is a new version of Windows or Linux, they will automatically give that to us. You cannot say that, hey, I want to go back to this particular version. I want to use Windows Server 2016 only. You cannot tell that in PaaS, right? And not just OS, but also any softwares like web servers, frameworks, versions of PHP, Java, Node, .NET. So all those will be installed by Microsoft itself. We will not have to worry about any such things. So somebody's trying to ask something. Any questions, guys? KMR Srinu. If not, please go on mute. There is some background noise. Rahul says audio problem. Rahul, everybody is able to listen. Please check your audio. All right. So now PaaS. When you go to PaaS, there will be less admin work for us because Microsoft guys will take care of everything. But now there are limitations as well. Because OS is managed by them, all softwares are managed by them. We cannot log into that server. It's not possible. Because we cannot log in, obviously we cannot install any software of our own. There are limitations with respect to software usage, but all major softwares are possible to be used in PaaS. Okay, so now in real time, if you have to choose between this, so somebody asked you on what basis you will choose IaaS or PaaS. Okay, if you want complete control on OS, then you should go to IaaS. That usually happens in legacy systems. If you're working for a customer who is looking at migrating their on-prem workloads to Azure, right, and they have no time, they have very less time to get the migration completed, then you should go to IaaS, right? And when to go to PaaS, if you have time and your client is okay to make some changes to the code and make it compatible to PaaS, then in that case you will go to PaaS. Okay. And apart from that, the other reason is, let's say you are using some software, third-party software, which requires custom installation, then you cannot go to PaaS in that case. You should go to IaaS only. So these are the very high level or top common reasons why you go to IaaS or PaaS. Okay. All right. Now the third one is SaaS. I'm sure many of us might be using the SaaS products already. Anybody knows any SaaS products that you guys are already using? Yeah, what are those?
Mobile application.
Microsoft 365, very good. Rakesh is, yeah, mobile apps, correct, but yeah, most mobile apps are SaaS products. Yeah, you're right. Google Drive, OneDrive,
Google Drive.
Dropbox, these are all SaaS products. Yes, that means when you want to use SaaS, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to worry about infrastructure. You don't have to worry about versions. You don't need to worry about developing the application, right? You just pay a subscription, whether it is annual or monthly. That's it. The vendor will take care of everything. That's SaaS. So in this course, we'll focus majority on PaaS because that will be the future. Of course, we'll look at some IaaS as well, but majority is PaaS is what we'll be looking at in this course. And of course, a little bit of serverless as well. Okay, all right. So we just discussed about this. Yeah. One more comparison. This slide. So shared responsibility model, right? So in on-prem, you see there are four boxes, four vertical sections, right? One for on-prem and these three for cloud categories. And each vertical section contains two colors, green color and blue color boxes, right? Each box represent a responsibility. If it is in green color, then it's our responsibility. You see, on-prem, everything is our responsibility. And it's someone in our team. But when you go to cloud, the first three responsibilities are not us. It will be taken care by Microsoft. And when you move further to PaaS, now our responsibility decreases. And when you go to SaaS, almost entire responsibility is taken by cloud vendor or the SaaS vendor. So in on-prem, we are responsible for setting up network, purchasing the servers, everything, purchasing the license, OS, installation of applications, database, everything, development of database, everything is our responsibility. But when you move to IaaS in cloud, you don't have to worry about purchasing physical servers, setting up networking, storages, all that is Microsoft responsibility. But from managing OS onwards, or it's our responsibility. They're responsible for installation of runtime, installation of application and databases is our responsibility in IaaS. But when you move to PaaS, up to runtime, Microsoft will take care. We are only responsible for deploying our applications and databases. That's it. And in SaaS, everything is responsible by them. We only need to create users and manage the data. That's it. Okay. All right. So enough on theory. Let's do some practical things. Before that, any questions, guys? Do you understand the difference between IaaS and PaaS?
Yes, Praveen, good morning. I have a doubt here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. When we say on-premises to cloud, so I heard so many discussions, when they want to migrate from on-premises to cloud or cloud to on-premises. On-premises, till now I assumed it is, storage is, setting up in the one under one roof or their common, private place or their office or something. So on premises, in the sense it is located in cloud or in their private place. A little confused here.
See, on-prem is their private place. It's simple. It's a building managed by them.
Okay. No, when you say we are migrating from on premises to cloud, in the sense, what it exactly on premises is again cloud or it is a physical server kind of thing in,
It's a private
in
cloud. Yeah, it's physical
okay,
server. It's a
okay,
private cloud.
got it. Yeah,
So when we just refer the word cloud, it's public cloud, basically.
got it, Praveen. Got it, Praveen. Thanks.
Yeah. So there is a question, what is the disadvantage of using cloud computing service? Right? There is no disadvantage as such, but many people, right? Not now, but at least few years back, many people were concerned about security, especially financial services like banks, insurance companies. That was the case earlier, because we don't know where exactly they are storing our data, right? So that's why earlier some banks were not showing interest in migrating their workloads into cloud. But now everybody is moving into cloud. Even the large US banks, right? Everybody is moving towards cloud. In fact, I work for a very large bank in the US, helping them in migrating their workloads into cloud. So they have a lot of certifications as well. Microsoft Azure Trust Center. In case when you are working for your customer, customers will ask us, right? What do you want? If they are concerned about security or privacy, based on that you should select it. They keep changing the UI. So basically, Microsoft guys have many certifications. I don't know where exactly those certifications are there. We know ISA certification, all that, right? In the US, there are many such certifications for compliance, for security, everything, right? I'm not able to get that. Probably I will check that. So there are many certifications like HIPAA, all those are in place. So we don't have to worry about security, but it was old story. But now I don't see any disadvantage as such. Only thing is it will not be under our control. That's a disadvantage. It will be under Microsoft control. Okay. All right. Any other questions, guys, before we I do some hands-on today? You can ask any question, not just the one that I explained, but in general. Many people ask me, do I need to learn coding? I am not good at coding. So does DevOps need some coding experience? So I would not say coding is required. I mean, I would not say learning programming language is required like Python, C Sharp, right? You don't have to learn that for Azure DevOps role, but definitely you will be writing some code using some other technologies like Terraform, Bicep, ARM templates, YAML. These are not very complex. I just showed you, right? This is YAML. It is human readable format. It's very simple, because if you're looking at for the very first time, you might feel that this is complicated. But once I start explaining and once you practice, it is very easy. So we'll start from basics. I will do everything line by line. So then you will feel comfortable. And there are tools which will generate it for us. Let me quickly show you one example here. So don't worry, this UI is also very confusing. So when I do this later, it will be easy. For example, let's say I did not write any of this. I only have written this because it doesn't know the name of my folder and my file name, right? I have written this. Not here, but I will show you how. So all you need to know is where to put your cursor. That's it. So here I'll show you this. I'll generate the same thing again. Okay. So this task is Azure Resource Manager, right? So I will have to search for this. So this is the one. Select it. You'll get UI like this. I will explain later what is the service connection and all. It will take some time to load up. Because I have multiple subscriptions, I think 2 or 3. So generally this is little slow. Yeah. So depending on production environment or dev environment or UAT environment, I'll have to choose one. This should be faster. Okay, I don't have anything this there. That's fine. Something you can type, and then you can type if you do not have anything. There are errors, of course, because there is nothing as so type something and click on add. Before clicking on add, the only thing that you need to know is where to put your cursor. That's very, very important. Cursor is here somewhere. So you need to put the cursor exactly on hyphen. That is something that you should know. Okay, my cursor is in the right place. Now click on add. So I did not type anything. I mean, I have typed that in the UI. This is how you will be writing all this code. Same case for everything, almost everything. 90% of the code is generated automatically from this task. Okay, so you don't have to worry about complete thing. Only thing you should know is small things. For example, this is the code that I have typed. This is a command that you should know for some reason. And this is a thing that I typed on my own. Okay, you should understand when to put these spaces, when to put this space. Every space is important here. Okay, so that is a level of technical skills you need to have. You don't need to know logic. You don't need to write logic. So definitely don't compare with developers. Definitely developers need a lot of logical skills and programming skills, but a DevOps engineer need not worry about writing programs, at least 90% of the cases in your roles. Okay, all right, that was a common question, so I just thought I would answer that. Any other question, guys? Yeah, I explained about course, and once the course is complete, I will also help you in preparing your resume, and I will also share you interview questions. Yeah, good question, right? Kishore is asking, is it mandatory to do certification for DevOps engineer? So first of all, let me explain this. There are two certifications that you should do. First one is AZ104. That's an administration Azure admin certification. It's a mandatory. It's a prerequisite for AZ400. AZ400 is the certification for becoming Azure DevOps engineer. So in order to do this, you need to have AZ104. You need to clear AZ104 as a prerequisite. Now, do I need to do this compulsorily to get a job? Not required. It's not mandatory, but definitely it will add value. Okay. So for example, let's say you're already working in some companies, right? Now you might want to change your project. You want to switch internally into Azure projects. So people will not do that unless you do this kind of certification. So if you are planning for internal transfer, then definitely certification will add value. But if you are planning to look for opportunities outside your current organization, certifications, people will not ask you certification, but they will definitely validate technical skills. Okay, that's I assume I answered your question, Kishore. Sam is asking, videos would be needed every day for going to practice. Absolutely. So the session is recorded now, right? So I already have a group WhatsApp created for many of you. I think at least 50% of you guys are in WhatsApp. Rest of you guys are not in WhatsApp. Probably your friends might have referred you. So let me quickly share the link of WhatsApp. And in case if you are from some other institute, so let me know in the WhatsApp group. Let me quickly share you the link. So definitely yes, every session that is recorded will be shared you, and you can go through the recording. You can download the recording and you can go through the recording. If you don't download, it will expire. So immediately you should download, and you can practice offline, and you can come up with questions if you have. Okay, Sammy, I hope I answered your question. And the next question is, though we have not started with code demo, but the screen is not clear to see the code steps. Yeah, screen is not clear. Probably you should make some room on your GoToMeeting, right? You can collapse the individual person names, right? You can expand the space, that way you will get some room, and that's how you see more of my screen. Okay, just make some room by collapsing things. Okay, all right. So I'm just quickly sharing you the WhatsApp link so that you can join. Okay, next question is Tamil Vanan. I'm not in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, I just gave you the WhatsApp link. You can join into that. And Saikin asking, course come under which role, admin or developer? So this is not a developer related course. This is Azure DevOps course. Okay, it's Azure DevOps. DevOps engineer is the role that will be focusing after completing this course. I hope I answered your question, Sai Kiran. Chetan is asking, scripting is needed for this. Yeah, little bit of scripting is also needed. So we will be using PowerShell. Yeah, definitely PowerShell. In that you need to write logic, but most of the DevOps engineers will not write PowerShell unless there is some complex requirement. So at least 80% of the time you will not need PowerShell. Okay, of course, it is good to learn PowerShell, but it's very rare to write PowerShell code logic. You will not, do day in, day out on PowerShell. I hope I answered your question, Sai Kiran. Rakesh is asking, will we touch upon containers? Yes, we will learn Docker. We'll learn how to Dockerize a .NET application. We'll deploy the Docker application into container registry, and then we will learn how to use that in AKS. Basically, we'll learn how to set up AKS cluster, and then we'll learn how to create pods. These are all AKS terms. Don't worry if you don't understand now. Yeah, we'll learn how to deploy a .NET based Docker image into AKS. Yeah, we'll look into that. So I will share the course content, guys, so you can have a look. Let me quickly share the course content. Yeah, VNet, NSGs, I will explain all that. So though it is not admin course, but still I will explain some of the important ones. I'm sharing the course content with you guys, so you can have a look. I will also share this in the WhatsApp group, so I request everybody to join from WhatsApp group. And if you are from any third-party institute, please let me know. Okay, yeah. All right, let's do some hands-on. The very first step that everybody should be doing is they need to create a trial account. So pick Google on Azure free account. It will navigate here. So when you create this free account, Microsoft gives us $200 of credit for free. So all you can click on this. It will ask you email address, phone number, and a valid credit card. These three are unique combination. You cannot reuse them. for creating one more Azure account. It's not possible. You can provide credit card or debit card. I have heard that debit card always create problems. So in case if you do not have credit card and you are using debit card, and in case if you face any issues while creating this account, there is a button here in the bottom. You see, there's a blue button in the bottom which says chat with sales. Click on this and they will help you in case if you are facing any issues with setting up an account. Okay, so Microsoft gives you $200 credit for free that should be consumed in 1 month only. Okay, all right, I already have an account. Once you have an account, you need to navigate to this URL called portal.azure.com. So I already logged in. I'll be taken to my dashboard. It's not pretty good. So this is my Azure account. So today we are going to do some hands-on. Before I discuss on what we are going to do, let me ask you a question. Is there anybody who has working experience in setting up a website? Yep, in IaaS. Yes, Rakesh. Okay. Can you tell me what are the high-level steps that you need to take in order to set up a website in IaaS or Apache anywhere? Okay, bindings. Right from beginning. Yeah, I'm going to create a host. Yeah, right from beginning. You basically you are an admin who needs to work for a new customer. They need to set up a brand new. They are setting up a brand new business and they want a website, a corporate website for them. They first, so they do a lot of things, right? And it will take a lot of time. They need to purchase a server. They need to purchase licenses. They need to download softwares, install softwares, configure softwares, and then create web servers, install frameworks like .NET, Java, Python, PHP, depending on what software the website is using. And then we need to set up IaaS or web servers, then create websites, do bindings, purchase domains, DNS, lots and lots of things, right? It takes definitely many weeks. Okay. So now the story doesn't end there. That's the first time work. But throughout the lifetime, they will have to manage all those servers, right? Both hardware as well as software. So that's lot of work. But here I'm going to show you how easy it is to have a web application up and running in cloud. It just takes 2 minutes. Of course, I need to explain it, so it will take more time, but otherwise it hardly takes couple of minutes. Okay, let me explain what am I going to do. I'm going to create two PaaS services. As the heading says, app service plan and app service. So you should remember these names from now onwards. App service plan and app service, both are different. So app service plan is a PaaS server. You'll get a virtual machine when you create app service plan. You'll get beyond a virtual machine, but for now, assume that it's a virtual machine. App service plan is a service in Azure which provides infrastructure like CPU, RAM, storage, all that. Now, once you have this ready, you can, oops, sorry guys. Once you have it ready, you can create websites in that. So websites are called as app services. The full name is app service web app. You can have one or more app services like this. Okay, now let me create this in Azure. So I have an account already. the very first thing that I should do is a resource group creation. It's very, very important. Without resource group, you cannot create anything. The way is very simple. I clicked on create button. Naming convention, following naming convention for all the resources is very, very important because you cannot change it later. Okay. So I'm choosing the name of the resource group and I need to provide which region in which you want to deploy. I'm choosing East US. Validate the inputs and then click on create. That's it. A resource group has been created now. So what is resource group? As the name suggests, it's a group of resources. A resource group is a container for your resources. That's it. Let me click on this. It's empty now. Let me make some room. I will collapse this pane. So right now it says no resources are found. We need to create resources, right? So now let me create resource. So what do you want? Let me go back to PowerPoint. We'll first create app service plan. Okay. So go back to portal. Now here look for a menu. If you don't see this menu, you can add a menu by going to all service. So this portal is entirely flexible. Okay, you can move resource, you can move menu items, you can add new, you can remove existing one, all that you can do. The very first thing is I need to create app service plan. So hover on this, you will get this. You can click on create. This is another way of creating resources. Or you can click on this first. It will show the existing ones. Right now I have an app service plan which is in Southeast Asia. This is Singapore. Okay. So I don't want this. I want to create a new one in the US because let's assume for the sake of simplicity, we're working for a US customer. Okay. So first, basically you will see tabs, basics, tag and review is create. These are the three tabs that you see for every service. So you need to choose the resource group. Yeah, demo is the resource group. Then you should start filling all the details. Name is important. Is it DevOps hyphen demo is our project. Just for the sake of today, you just assume that it's a project name. And I'm sure everybody understands that there will be environments, right? Dev environment, staging environment, production environment. So I'm going to create a service for dev environment currently in East US. E means East US. And what is the type of the service? This is an app service plan. So app service plan. You might end up creating multiple. So provide a name, provide a number. So this is the level of naming convention that you should follow. Otherwise, what happens is you'll end up seeing hundreds or thousands of services in your projects. In one of my projects, 5 years back or 4 years back, we had 500 services. Now it might have grown to more than 1,000. Of course, I left that company. So yeah, so otherwise you will not understand which service is used for what. There is no clue unless you put this kind of naming convention. Let me explain one more. These are all resources. Let me open this. There are some services already. If you don't provide proper naming conventions, then you will not understand, you yourself will not understand why did you create that after a month or two. Now you see, can you tell me what is this service, guys? Looking at the name, you will not understand anything. Looking at this icon, looking at this type, you can tell me that, okay, this is a virtual machine. But looking at the name, can you tell me whether it is dev environment or is it used for production? We don't know. We don't have any clue in this, right? So none of them have naming convention properly. So this is a bad practice. Okay, so that's why looking at this name, I can tell you that this is a project. Okay, this is specific to this project created inside East US, and okay, this is an app service plan. So entire organization should follow this kind of approach. It's a good practice. Now app service plan is a server, right? So it is asking us, what do you want to install? Is it Windows or Linux? You should choose one of them. I will pick Windows. Let me pause here for a moment. Can you guys tell me, is there a limitation here that you see? Any limitation that you observe here with respect to OS? Anybody?
No versions.
Very good, absolutely right. You don't have flexibility to choose a version because it is PaaS. PaaS will not let you choose a version. That's by design. But IaaS will let you choose versions. So for your projects in real time, if there is a scenario, if there is requirement that you should go to only specific OS version, then you cannot go to PaaS out of the box. Okay. Yeah, very good. That's one limitation. Now I'm from India, right? But still I can create a server in East US. I'm going to create an app service plan in the East US. Now, what is the capacity? So capacity comes under pricing tiers, SKU and size, right? I'll go default one. Right now I will choose 1.75 GB of RAM and 100 CPU units. Okay, that's it. Click on review plus create. It will validate the naming the names. Yeah, it looks good. That's it. In just 30 seconds or even less than that, our server will be up and running. I did not purchase any server, physical server. I did not purchase any license. I did not do any Windows installation. I did not do any configuration of any web servers, nothing. Everything is pre-configured inside this. That's the power of PaaS. Everything is from now onwards throughout the lifetime till I delete this. It's Microsoft responsibility to always keep the OS current. It will ensure that Microsoft will ensure that they install latest patches, everything, without causing any problems to us. That is what PaaS is all about. So Microsoft is very, very popular for PaaS services. It took hardly 1 minute, right, to create this server. So this is running, is ready, it's running in the East US right now. S1 is standard pricing tier. There are levels. We'll discuss more about this in the actual sessions. Right now, there is only one server with 1.75 GB of RAM. And let's assume that looking at the name, it's dev environment, right? Dev environment 1.75 GB should be sufficient. But for just let's pretend that this is production environment. 1.75 is not sufficient, right? I want to increase it. Okay, it's very simple. In app service plan, just go to scale up. There are many options. Right now, you see this blue box. This is the current configuration. S1, we are in S1 with 1.75 GB. I want to double it or increase it by 4 times, whatever you want. Select this and click apply. That's it. It's as simple as it. So I will be charged if I select this. So let me choose this. That's it. It's done. Right? Can you increase the RAM of your laptop like this? No, absolutely no. Even if you are a hardware specialist and you have a RAM in your hand now, at least you should restart the laptop. But here, we don't need to worry about any restarting, nothing. It will not have any impact on your websites. There are no websites at this point of time. I did not create any website yet, but this is as simple as it is, right? So now I will be charged, so I don't want to use this. So I'll go back. In fact, the price is lesser here. In higher versions, the price is less than the lower versions. Okay, so I will be here for some time. We'll come back to that again. Now you see P1, one server is there. So we are done with app service plan. So let me create a website. So I need to go to, right now there is no website here, 00, right? The OS is Windows. So let me now create a website. Click on this. Right now I have one website. I don't want to use that. I want to create a new one. So now you see some other additional tabs are there for this web app. So the same experience, you should choose the resource group and then provide a name. DevOps demo dev to us. Now this is web application, right? So WAPP1. These are the recommendation that I'm giving, but there will be slight changes when you work in your projects. The company will have its own naming convention. So I want to publish our code and I want to publish a .NET based application. Choose one of them. You see, a server will have all these softwares pre-installed. You have multiple versions of .NET, Java, Node.js, Python, PHP, Ruby. All these softwares are installed and pre-configured. So definitely installation and configuration is not easy. At least these Node.js, PHP, Python, they're not straightforward. .NET is straightforward in my opinion. Select one and then choose East US. So this region and operating system is only to filter this app service plan. So please pay attention here. Web app is nothing but a website. Obviously, you need to install website in a server, right? Here server is nothing but app service plan. So now there might be n number of servers in your account, right? Some of them will be Linux, some of them would be Windows, some of them will be in East US, some of them will be in Central US, all that, right? So now here, while creating web app, we need to pick app service plan. But in order to filter app service plan, these two are filters. Okay, but these two are not fields of web app. No, just filters. Because I've selected Linux and because I've selected Windows and East US, our app service plan is shown. If I choose Linux, it will not show that. It will show a brand new. It is saying that it is going to create a new one. So we don't want new one, right? So go back to Windows and then you will see the existing one that we have already created. Okay, all right, that's about it, and the rest of them are not mandatory. I don't want to do automatic deployment. This is by default enabled. That's okay. You can also disable it. We'll learn about this later, and we're done. Review plus create. You can review all the inputs and then click on create. That's it. We're done in on creating the web app. It's hardly takes 30 more seconds. Now we can start deploying a web application developed by developers. Okay, by default, yeah, it is done. Let me click on go to resource. It's done. So I can browse it. By default, Microsoft gives a simple HTML page. So you see a URL is also available. You don't have to do binding, all that stuff is not required. A simple HTML page is also given to us. That's the power of PaaS. If you have to do the same thing in on-prem, it takes lots and lots of time and multiple people should work together. But here I just did that in 2 minutes without anybody's help. Now let's say we went live and the traffic is growing and we want to create multiple servers. We want to create load balancing. It's very simple. Go to app service plan, or within app service also you can do that by going to scale out. So right now there's only one server, so I can just increase it to 2 servers or 3 servers. That's it. We're done. It's running on cluster now. Cluster of 3 servers. You see 3 here. P1, 3. That means our application is running in 3 servers. There is a load balancer also created automatically for us and a cluster of servers created automatically for us. We will not need to worry about anything. We will not deploy our application in the 2 new servers. Nothing, right? It will be taken care automatically by Microsoft. That's the power of PaaS. Okay. Any questions, guys? I think I'm pretty much done, unless you have any questions. So today we have seen how to create this manually, but DevOps engineer will never work on things manually. How to automate this process. In the course, we'll learn how to automate this process, how to create the services automatically by writing code. So DevOps engineers focus is to automate everything. Yeah. So now because I'm done, I can delete this in no time. All I do is delete entire resource group and click on delete. That's it. But I will not delete it, but I will wait for any of your questions. Any questions, guys? Great. All right. So I'm planning to start this from February 1st. Every day it will be 1 hour. This time it's a kind of quick fast track. We will be having sessions even in weekends. The main reason that is because the free subscription will expire in 1 month. So I have seen many people not doing hands-on because earlier I used to take it for 6 weeks or 7 weeks. I mean, it used to extend for 6 weeks because it was only Monday to Friday. Because of that, some people were not having, because of time issues, they were not able to practice and their subscription used to get expired. So that's why it will be during weekends as well. And that way, many of you might be looking for jobs, right? Now the market is too hot. So before companies invite us to work from offices, I highly recommend you guys to practice and start giving interviews while you are working from home. Nobody asked you to come to office for interviews, right? You can do it from using video calls, right, sitting at your home. This is the right time to look for a new career. But once people invite you to offices, it will become hard to attend interviews, right? So this is the right time, and moreover, at all companies are giving decent packages. So there was a example. There was a 4 years guy who was drawing 4 lakhs, and he got a job of 18 lakhs, right, from 4 to 18. So there is no limit now. If you have decent skills, you can demand whatever you want. Right? That's the level. That's the thing happening now because of the obvious reasons. Right? So I definitely required you guys to start searching at least after 2 weeks of the course. So I have a quick question. I mean, in case if you do not have question, I have some questions. Okay, let me share you a link. So Chaitanya, unfortunately, I don't have any batches running in the evening. This is the only slot that I have. So let me share you a quiz. Basically, I have a quiz. I would like to conduct a quiz. So let me quickly share you the link. Just give me a minute. I need to open that. My internet is little slow, guys. Just bear with me for a minute. One more. I'm sharing that in GoToMeeting chat. Um, and in WhatsApp as well. And I know I can see many people have joined. Thanks for joining, guys. Yeah. Thanks, Shiva, for sharing the course content in the group. Yeah. So let me delete. I think, yeah, I will keep it for some time. Yeah. So I have shared you and you can start answering the questions. Oops, sorry guys, wait. I think it is asking for login. So let me disable that. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, now I think you can try. It should not ask you password now. Yeah. Wait guys, sorry. 1 second. 1 second is not the right one. Wait, I'm so sorry. I apologize. 1 second, guys. Don't use that. My sincere apologies. Sorry, it's not the right one.
It's working.
Don't worry, don't answer that.
Okay.
No, I think that's different. This guy, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
This Azure DevOps introduction.
Yeah, it's Azure DevOps. We are in Azure introduction, right?
Yes, it does. Azure DevOps introduction. Is the right
Correct.
one?
No, wait. I
Oh,
need to
okay.
pick the right thing. Just give me a minute.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I found it. I'm sorry. So let me share it again. Yeah, I'm sharing it in WhatsApp as well as chat window, WhatsApp chat, and I did it in WhatsApp chat. And let me share it with you guys on GoToMeeting. Yes, I think I have. This time I shared you the right one. Let me check that. It should not ask you any login, and it should be the. Yep, I think this is the one. Yeah, please start giving answers, guys. I can see one of you completed. Sammy, you are done. It would be great if you can share some feedback. Yeah, I think 2 of you are done. Yeah, 3 of you are done. Five of you have done. Yep, I can see 12 responses. So let me also answer in case if you're done. So if everybody is done, shall we? Or you want some more time? I can see only 12 responses, 13 responses so far. Sixteen responses so far. All right, let me also do this. I'll show you because there are some confusions probably. Yeah. So the first one, app service, is an example of PaaS. Yes, it is a PaaS service. Can you please pay attention here, guys? In case if you're doing it, just you can do it again later. Yeah. Is it possible to do a remote desktop with PaaS? Absolutely no. We cannot log into PaaS servers. It's not possible. Can we install any custom software in IaaS? Yes, it is possible. Okay, custom software can be installed in IaaS but not in PaaS. OS upgrades, all that are managed by Microsoft in which. So yeah, in basically this is SaaS. Sorry, there is a problem here. There's a typo. Yeah, even in SaaS also it will be done. But yeah, in this case, if you see both, right, you should choose PaaS. And what is the URL of portal, it's portal.azure.com. And OS is for what service? It's for app service plan. In app service also you see OS, but OS is not a factor of app service. It's a property of app service plan only. But the reason why you see OS in app service while creating app service is just to filter. I have shown you that, right? To filter the app service plans. That's the only reason why you see apps OS while creating app service. And same case with this as well. A dedicated VM will be allocated for app service plan only. And what is app service plan? It defines CPU and RAM. And what is app service? It's a service for hosting web apps. Just provide a name. Yeah, I can rate this. I think it is mandatory. I will say 2 or 3 or 4, whatever it is. If it is not mandatory, on submit. Yeah, I can see results by clicking on view results. And in case if you have done some mistake, you can see the correct answer for that. You can read some description that I provided. Okay, and you can do it multiple times, guys. If you want to do it again, oops, sorry, I lost it. You can do it again as soon as you submit, right? You can submit. You can use the same URL and do it again. There is no harm. Okay, if you will not get 10 out of 10, probably you might have got 7, 8. But if you want to correct yourself, then you can resubmit it. That's also possible. I have enabled that feature. Okay. I think 19 people, 19 of you have submitted it, and let me see who is the top scorer. Yep, I think one of you got 10 out of 10, which is very good. Let me see who's that. I think it's one and responded 13. When I got out of 10 out of 10, very good, Vinay. And then 8 is the second rank, and it was Madhu. Congrats, Madhu. And 7 was scored by at least 4 people. Okay, let me read out the names. Respondent 1 is this. Tamilvanan. And then responded 6. Tamilvanan and Shiva Prasad. Responded 11 and 19. Anju, yeah. And finally, responded Vijay, right? You also got 7. Very good. So, yeah. And others who want to try again, you can try again. See. All right. Yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for your time. And there's one quick question by Sai. Can't we use VPN to access PaaS instance? So basically the question is, let me share my, I think you're able to see your screen, right? So right now, this is the website, right? I'm sharing you the URL. Anybody can access this website over internet. Anybody. The question is, can we restrict the access? in such a way that only people with VPN access can access this PaaS instance. That's what happening nowadays, right? We're all working from home. Your some internal services like LMS, timesheet, all that, those might be only accessible over VPN. Is it possible to do similar setup to our app service? Yes, absolutely yes. It is possible. Okay, it's not directly, it's not simple, it's a little complicated. But yeah, it's definitely possible. You have to attach your web app to a network in Azure. Basically, we need to create a network. Basically, VNet. VNet is called as network there. Virtual network basically. So attach your application, this one, to that VNet, and then that VNet must be attached to your on-prem network. There should be a site-to-site VPN setup, and then allow only to the people who are accessing to that VPN. It's not straightforward, and it's not also easy to demonstrate that, because some certificates, all that must be configured, and need to install install VPN tools, so it will take a lot of time. So yeah, but definitely it's possible. Yeah. So I think I'm done, guys. Thank you so much for your time. Unless I can wait for a few more minutes if you have any question. And this is recorded, right? Recording will be shared with you guys. In case if some of you have missed, you can go through it later, or you can share with your friends as well. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
Sorry to interrupt you. I have a small doubt here. Uh, I remember I created one Azure account earlier. So I use my credit card. Since I have only one credit card, can I use the credit card and create one more account, or the one credit card
I
is?
don't think so. You can try. I don't think so. You will be able to do that. I heard that some people, they are not able to do it. So
Correct.
I don't think
Okay.
you'll be able to do it. You will have
As I
to.
said, I'll try with the debit card and.
Yeah, you have to use different phone number, different email, and different card.
Sure.
Yeah. Thanks, Akiran. Yeah, it's not able to do it. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, Praveen. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you, Praveen.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Bye bye.